Chapter 15. What do you mean Garyx won? Shaking his head, Clemo refused to look Jason in the eyes. Garyx won. That damn dragon man killed Zane and almost killed me. I have no idea why Jerry has saved me from that winged thing. Zane? The angel? Clemo nodded his head as a tear rolled down his face. We are damned, Jason. You lost your divinity, and I don't know what happened to Jerry's. Clemo looked away. I saw Garyx kill him. Kill who? Jason asked, shaking Clemo. Clemo shook his head. I saw the human god die right before my eyes. Letting go of Clemo, Jason stepped back. Guardian is dead? Jason's tone was full of sorrow. I am confused. How did you see all of this? Clemo finally looked back at Jason. The arena burst with a sudden light from the sky as it erupted in flame. Both Elans looked up to see that dreaded fiery dragon's eye, the eye of Garyx. You are now my playthings. The eye blinked. Within that moment of blinking, shapes and forms materialized all around both Jason and Clemo. The two looked around to see familiar creatures surrounding them, creatures they have battled and fought throughout the years. Clothrol, Grotst, Ammon, Orcus, Dagon, Demogorgon, and many others are all around us, Clemo. Jason grabbed Clemo by the arm. Psychic energy swirled out of his body and into Clemo's. Wounds shut, and the teleporting swordsman felt refreshed. The superior psychic then charged psychic energy all over his body. Drawing fission in two forms, Clemo turned from Jason. We've beaten these guys before. If anything, the only advantage they have is in numbers. Clemo waved his hand, causing 3 heads of witch hunters to fall, which is no advantage at all. The eternal moment. Garyx laughed. How much longer do you honestly think it will take before I end you, cretin? You won't, Jarius mocked, his insidious smile seen between 2 waving folds of shadow. It is an interesting trick, but all you do is postpone your inevitable loss, Garyx said, flicking his claw at Jarius. What trick? The demon god said with an innocent tone. You have lost this game of divine chess. You sent away your champion, forcing me to kill him in order to get to you. And you can't get to me until you get through him. Jarius pointed at the Jason piece on the board. And there is no way Jason will let you get to him until you go through him first. Garyx clapped his dragon claws together, making a scraping sound as the sharp pieces made contact. Bravo! You have lost your 2 armies, your sword, most of your divinity, your abysmal realms, and yet even now you act as if you are on the verge of victory. The god covered in shadow chuckled. Because I am. They aren't even close to reaching me. They have to defeat everything they have ever beaten first. They are almost done doing that now. What? Garyx looked closely at the board in front of them. How is that even possible? They barely beat each of those things alone, and are plowing through them like nothing. How is that possible? Let me know when you regret setting the conditions for your loss. The dragon god looked back at Jarius. He relaxed, leaning back in his chair, his long neck curled up as his head cocked to the side. Why do you have so much faith in Jason? Extending his hand and opening his shadowy palm, an image of a brain appeared, floating just over his fingertips. I created him. Tell me, Garyx, have you ever known me to have a flawed creation? Exhaling smoke from his nostrils, the dragon god responded. I've seen your creations fall many times. Jarius nodded his agreement. Correct, but have you ever seen my creations fail? You killed Loth. You created her. Obviously she failed. Your logic failed. Did you even hear your own words just now? I created Loth. She has performed perfectly on the function I created her for, just as Jason is now doing the same. You will not be able to stop him. Garyx looked at the fight on the board. He examined how both Jason and Clemo were nearly done defeating every enemy within that arena. Garyx waved his hand, conjuring portals all around both Jason and Clemo. The arena. What the hell is that? Clemo yelled, pointing at portals opening as things lumbered out to attack the two psychics. Undead and shadow demons. Keep fighting, friend. We're doing great, Jason retorted. Grotz sped across with raised claws descending down to strike Jason. Jason used the same speed to move out of the way. Clemo seized the opportunity to teleport behind the former demon lord, swinging both his swords, removing the head of Grotz. The fighting continued. The eternal moment. Interesting. Summoning my armies now? Are you getting desperate? Really? You can't be serious. I'm merely sending my weakest armies at them, Garyx responded. Too bad you can only send them in waves like that, huh? Those armies are vast. Maybe if all of them could flood in at once, both Jason and Clemo could be crushed. But that's not how I designed them. Do you now understand why I had no problem betting them against you? Still doesn't matter. I have the upper hand. Even if you beat everything here, they have a very long way to go before they get to me. With no possibility of rest, I will drain them quickly. Garyx laughed. Jarius said nothing. Waving his hand, the battle before these two gods accelerated, moving faster than a mortal eye could keep track of. They stared intently at the accelerated battle. They have beaten their previous foes, but my portals are still open. They can't! His eyes widened at the sight of the portals closing by Jason's power alone. That psychic is not more powerful than me. Correct. He sure isn't. How did he do that? The dragon god demanded. Jarius said nothing as he smiled. The arena. Jason looked around at the empty arena. We need to go. No doubt Garyx can summon more portals and enemies whenever he wants. Clemo nodded his agreement. The two teleported to the edge of the arena. Jason placed his hand on the invisible barrier. Psychic energy pulsated around his hand. The door is closed, but close by, he said. Ah, I found it. There! Jason pointed to another portion of the wall where a door became visible. The two rushed through. The eternal moment. My forces won't beat them in direct combat. Let's see if they can handle the next challenge. Garyx pointed to the board, altering it to a massive desert. The desert split apart from end to end, forming a canyon in the center. Fire erupted all around this ravine. And my final touch. Garyx smiled, almost laughing as he spoke. Psychic powers do not work here. His laughter echoed all around Jarius. The god of shadow and demons leaned forward. Jason has spent a very long time getting to hell. Here, he is at the very gates themselves. So what does this challenge present? His draconic scaled lip curled as he formed a smile. Psychic negation. Jarius shrugged, causing Garyx to raise a scaled eyebrow. You do not know what will make them useless, right? The red dragon god bellowed with laughter. You won't even last as long as he did as a god. The massive ravine. What is this place? Clemo asked. It can only be one place. Pointing, Jason continued. Do you see that in the distance just before the horizon? Squinting to get a better look, Clemo's vision zoomed in. My enchanted eyes can see it clearly. It is a massive iron gate taller than 50 feet. Where does it lead? How many years have we ventured into the abyss to get there? Jason asked, staring into the distance. Almost 10 years. What does that have to do with any... Clemo slowly turned his head to Jason. Is that truly the gates of hell? Yes. Something's wrong. Do you feel it? Jason asked. It is hell. How could anything feel right? The superior psychic shook his head. That's not what I'm talking about. Don't you feel what's missing? Clemo pulled out his swords from their scabbards. They had no glow. Fission, do you know what Jason is talking about? Clemo said to the swords. The swords were quiet. Fission, are you okay? Why won't you talk to me? Your psychic weapon cannot talk to you right now because right now nothing psychic works here. Jason walked forward towards the distant gates. We have a great distance to cover. This place is not only a desert, but fiery and hostile. We must tread carefully, old friend. Running to catch up to Jason, Clemo pointed at his eyes. My enchanted eye still works. Jason laughed. Yeah, they're magic, not psychic. Wait, does that make both of us useless? No, just me, which is why we need to hurry. You could still fight with those swords, use your enchanted eyes, and any other magical things you possess. The eternal moment. Garyx lowered his claw on the board. With a puff of smoke, a small wooden statue appeared just in front of the Jason and Clemo pieces. The opposing god raised his hand. You have decided to interfere. So? Jarius said sarcastically. This means I can now interfere. His shadow hand extended, forcing a wooden piece to appear in between the disabled psychics and the Fire Lord's piece. What the hell is that? Clemo exclaimed. Before the two Elans was a massive winged beast made of flame and ember. Run! Jason yelled. The two darted to the left, avoiding a fiery swing of its massive arm. Behind them, this monster gave chase. Behind that monster was something dark chasing it. The dark figure screeched, gaining the attention of the fiery one. The two commenced a fight of their own. It doesn't matter, Garyx said. My flame beast will win. Yes, your creature will no doubt kill mine. My creation has served its purpose regardless. It will never catch up to Clemo and Jason. The Fire Lord narrowed his eyes at the God of Shadow. You are starting to annoy me. That's amazing, Jarius mocked. That I am only just now annoying you. He smiled his solid white smile. So with all the power you gain from both Guardian and myself, you have to tell me all about how frustrating it is knowing that I will still defeat you. Garyx smirked. That smugness and hubris you have is going to be the sweetest taste I will ever know when it is your own undoing. I think I will kill you with your own sword. Garyx paused. Actually, I have a much better idea. Placing his elbows on the table to have his head fall into his hands in a bored position, Jarius let out a long, embellished sigh. This is so boring. Oh, I'm not entertaining you suddenly. The dragon god narrowed his solid black eyes in annoyance. Our words, they're old, and we're just repeating them over and over. I'll kill you. You're going to lose. Blah, blah, blah. A stream of smoke exited the dragon god's nostrils. Oh? And what are you trying to trick me into doing now? Don't you honestly see this is as tedious as a waste of time? Jarius pointed at the board. I mean, just look at them. Those two are going to take hours, if not days, to cross that ravine. All the while, you will summon monster after monster, and I will counter it with the same. Everything I do will only distract what you do. That was old before it started. Well, there is one quick way to have all of this end. You simply stop and let me kill them. Then I will go ahead and kill you. Are you trying to tell me that after all this, you are ready to roll over and die? No. Well, not exactly anyways. I would like to skip this waste of time and get right to it. Garyx tossed his head in disbelief. You only have a small spark of divinity, and those two psychics remain. Why would I just fast forward to the end when, in all likelihood, your champion will burn to death or die of thirst right there? I have everything I had when I was mortal, and yes, that small remaining divinity, after they make it to the gates of hell. Jarius waved his hand, showing an image of Jason and Clemo in front of the massive iron gates. They will then be in your city of dragons, where, waving his hand a second time, altered the image to show a massive city populated by dragons. They will battle every dragon you have. Then, waving his hand again, made this image show a literal mountain of gold and treasure. On top of that mountain sat the largest red dragon in existence, Garyx, the Fire Lord, his physical body and form casually laying. They will confront you directly. What of it? Let's just skip to that. No, Garyx said. Oh, afraid we might actually win? No. Yes, you are. Cretan, it is obvious what you are doing. What am I doing? The Shadow God casually said with an innocent tone. Trying to trick me into advancing your champion with the only thing that can kill me directly. Nothing you can say can convince me to allow that to happen. Then take the rest of my divinity. I'm going to take that with or without your permission very soon. You are getting desperate? Garyx still held his smile. Yeah, but you could have it right now. Think about it, Garyx. Right now, at this very moment, you know I could stretch this for weeks, months, even years. I will treasure those years. You see, you squirm like this makes it all worth it. Jarius shrugged, lifting his head up. Suit yourself. I mean, I literally offered to make myself mortal and thus way more killable. I would default to your godly realm. Garyx glared at his opponent. I know what you're doing. You want me to agree to allow you to directly assist them. A small stream of shadow flowed from under Jarius. It crept on top of the table, unnoticed by Garyx. Garyx continued to talk. You think your paltry little divinity is worth the risk of allowing your little goons to just skip ahead of the game like that? You really think I'm that stupid or gullible? The stream of shadow pushed the Jason and Clemo pieces all the way to the end of the board next to the gates of hell. You really think I would... Oh, look. They're at the gates already. Jarius chuckled. Your move. Garyx glared. This changes nothing. You will not get to do something like that a second time. Actually, since you decided to interfere like that, I am going to do the same. How did we get here so fast? Clemo asked Jason. No idea. Let's figure out how to go through those gates. Jason, no one has ever tried to go to hell before. Well, not intentionally anyways. Clemo held his silent blades at the ready. So close to you, a deep voice said behind Jason and Clemo. The two spun around to see Lazan standing, holding the one and only Godslayer sword. Garyx has blessed me with the privilege of killing the two of you. As an added bonus, this fight cannot have divine intervention of any kind. Garyx slammed his claw into the table, digging them into the wood. You can do nothing but watch. Garyx spat fire into the air. You know what? You were right. I am glad we fast-forwarded to the end. You didn't even come close to reaching me. First psychic negation, now divine? Jarius asked. Garyx nodded. Oh, yes. You recognize this blade, don't you? Lazan pointed the sword at Jason and Klimo as he began to approach them. Get behind me, Jason. Klimo had his swords out. He held a stance ready to defend from the Dragon Man. This thing is legendary. I am honored to have this. Now die. Lazan lunged forward, swinging the blade in a downward arc. Your champion is far stronger than Klimo. Even with Klimo's demon skin granting him fire immunity to his breath weapon, yours is far stronger, Jerry said casually. Are you conceding victory to me? No, just pointing out the obvious. You would have won, too, if you didn't place that divine block. No trick will help you now. That divine block prevents both of us from interfering. What do you hope to accomplish now? Absolutely nothing, Jerry smiled. Get to the point. Klimo is the superior swordsman. So, why would that matter? Lazan has a god weapon aiding him. You just said it, but you are too stupid to realize it, Jarius mocked. Garyx became silent. He watched the battle between his champion and Klimo. Lazan is devout. He never questions me. Correct. You have no way to tell him what to do. You have no way to tell him that sword he is using is just a regular sword and that divine block you made. Lazan has never used a sword before as either a dragon man or as a human Ian. Klimo has been fighting with swords for years. If Lazan fought... Jarius was interrupted. Shut up! Garyx screamed. His voice echoed for miles within the eternal moment. Lazan had gashes all across his body from Klimo landing blows. Klimo remained unharmed. I don't understand, Lazan shouted. How are your swords not shattering from making contact with this one? Klimo shrugged. I don't know, and don't care. He rushed forward, spinning around, dodging a slow swing from the Dragon Man. Klimo rushed his blades around, stabbing into his armpit. Lazan screamed in pain as he swung again, only to hit the empty air. Plunging his sword into an exposed neck, fission ripped through a spot in between his scales. Blood splattered as the Dragon Man flailed about, unable to breathe. Falling to the ground, dying, Lazan moved less and less as blood gushed out of him. Klimo stepped back, letting the Dragon Man die in agony. Putting his swords from the dead Lazan, Klimo looked to Jason. How do we get through those gates? I was thinking that it occurred to me rather quickly. Klimo turned his hand, letting Jason know that he wanted him to continue. Hell is for keeping the wicked imprisoned. This gate is for keeping souls in. I bet we can just... Jason placed his hands on the door to push. A large flash lit up the area around them as they were thrown back. Looming over and in front of the gates was an old man wearing gray robes. He leaned on a wooden staff as he stared at the two psychics. Jason, the old man said slowly. Jason stepped forward, unafraid of this stranger. Are you a devil? unchanging his wrinkled, grayish face, the white beard. The old man responded, "No." "Are you going to try to stop us?" Jason asked. "Only with words," the old man responded. "I don't have time for this," Jason said. The old man scowled, pointing at Jason. "You are an Elin. You have eternity." "I have come a long way, old man. I'm not going to be stopped by you or anything you have to say," Jason said. "I have been watching you for years, Jason. I saw how my brother engineered the destruction of your hometown," the old man said. Jason cocked his head. "Are you—" "I saw you as a human becoming Elin. I watched every step of the way, knowing that you would win, and nothing could truly stop you. And knowing that you are still trying, you know what happened when you killed my brother. Chaos left the mortal realm." Clemo turned to Jason. "Holy shit, is that Sabin?" Jason dryly chuckled. "Interesting choice of words, Clemo. But yes, he is the last good god. Order no longer exists in the mortal realm, Jason," Sabin said, still pointing. "My psychic powers do not work in this place. If I am such a threat, why don't you kill me here and now?" Sabin lowered his hand. "You are guarded by your creator. To interfere beyond words would include me in their contest. I have no interest in joining Garyx or Garyx." The surrounding area darkened as their own shadows left them, combining, forming the shape of a man. "Then leave," the massive shadows said in the voice of Garyx. Sabin moved to the side, getting out of their way. The old wizard stared at Jason as both Jason and Clemo walked past. Clemo bowed his head. The teleporter attempted to whisper to Jason, "Jason, what does the universe look like without chaos and order?" Jason did not look at Clemo as he responded, "After we destroy the 9 hells, we will find out." 8 dark figures stood in the background of the eternal moment. Their eyes were red and stared at Garyx. "Do you sense them coming for you, Garyx?" Garyx asked. "What of it?" the dragon replied. "If you continue to concentrate on me, you will not be able to defend against them," Garyx said. "That is my problem," Garyx roared. "Too true. And you know I could stretch out our little fight as long as I want. You can see that to beat me, you will need to ignore them. Yes or no, Garyx?" Clemo and Jason stood before the gates. Behind them lay the corpse of Lazan, still clutching the legendary Godslayer sword. A hand took hold of the Godslayer sword, lifting it from the ground. "Mine again," Garyx smiled. Both psychics turned around to see Sabin still standing in the background, and in front of Sabin was Garyx Kane, no longer enshrouded in shadow, but standing in his mortal form, holding that blade with both hands. "Did Garyx win? Are you mortal again?" Jason asked. "I surrendered to Garyx," Garyx said. "What? Why?" Clemo asked. "Because he would have died otherwise," Sabin interjected. The mage turned his head slightly, pointing his voice to the neutral good god of magic. "Are you still here?" Sabin narrowed his eyes, but said nothing as he vanished. Jason walked to Garyx, stopping directly in front of him. "Why are you here?" "My sword, for one," Garyx said, pointing at his blade. To help you, for two. We just killed Lazan without psychic powers. Obviously, we could take care of ourselves. Clemo interjected. Jason held his hand to Clemo to silence his friend without taking his eyes away from Jarius. Why hasn't Garyx smote us? Jason asked. Basically, Garyx has what he wants. Jarius pointed at the gates of hell. More importantly, though, he has bigger problems. I saw the other devil gods and knew they would come for him. Why? Clemo asked. Jason waved his hand at Clemo to reinforce his desire for Clemo to remain. Because, Clemo, those devils are jealous of Garyx. They know that he is powerful enough to take them down. Garyx has no reason to be content with running the first layer of hell. We could do this without him, Clemo said. Jason lowered his head, frustrated. Jarius stared at Jason. No, you can't. Yes, we can, Jason, Clemo shouted. Jason shook his head. We can't, Clemo. Even with our psychic powers, we cannot do this alone. We need him. Otherwise... Jason allowed his words to trail off as he looked up to Jarius. The mage smiled, letting go of his sword, forcing it to vanish, essentially putting it away until needed. It is settled, then. We are off to hell itself. Clemo's jaw dropped open, not knowing how to respond. Jarius walked past him, lifting his hand, pushing Clemo's jaw back up, closing his mouth for him. The mage stopped in front of the gates. You were correct, by the way, Jason. Jarius turned his head back, looking at Jason, who stood unmoving with his head still lowered and his back to the other two. We can easily open those gates from this side. Placing his hands on the massive iron gates, the mage gently pushed forward. His hidden godlike strength slammed those gates open. Fire erupted from the other side as souls rushed to escape their eternal damnation. Those balls of light flooded out with desperation. Never having turned his head away from Jason and Clemo, Jarius smiled. Are you coming? End of Chapter 15. End of Part 7 of the Second Universe series, The Book of Garyx.